Okay, so we are now live. I'm just going to go ahead and post on Twitter, let people know that we're live. Hey, Clifton, that was the FTL soundtrack. And hello. All right. Actually, I don't really need headphones, so I'm just gonna let people know that we are now live. Oh man, I also need to do my daily high-res image wallpaper, but let me see, what's a good image? All right, let's do this one. Okay, so a few things. I remember a few weeks back we had a problem with ProBuilder. Basically, the issue was if you created a bunch of objects and like if you were to duplicate them and then put them inside of an empty object like this, and then if we duplicated this parent and then moved these blocks around and then deleted one of them, it resulted in kind of these other meshes disappearing. So that made it not impossible, but very difficult for me to do level design. So good news is in ProBuilder 2.4.7, this has been updated. Yep, so fixed possible no reference error when working with prefabs that have been duplicated. So this is wonderful. Also, the wonderful thing is new upgrade procedure skips complicated upgrade kit in favor of a slightly more manual but more reliable approach. See ProBuilder documentation for information. So we'll see. We're actually going to switch to ProBuilder source moving forward. So you don't need to save this. Let's go ahead and open up our normal level. So anyways, you can see my desktop is a bit of a mess. Alright, so I want to show you guys the line bar tool, which is what I've been... Hey, Ezio Auditore! I use Visual Studio. Yes, I've been using Visual Studio for a while now, and I definitely prefer it over MonoDevelop. So yes, VS... I'm actually, although I am not on VS 2015, I think I'm on 2016. 2013. Yeah. Hold on. Okay, so let me show you guys the window tool that I've built. So basically relativity, line drawer, and it's got a few things so you can see from here basically what the tool does now is I can place these so yeah, you can see I have these markers and they Right, so basically what you see happen is when I set down a marker, I have this little marker here, and what it does is it shows me the red arrow is in the forward direction, the white arrow is in the right direction, the yellow cube, that's my left vertex point, the blue cube is the right vertex point, so you can see, because what happens is in the corners where it bends. Interesting. I'm sorry to hear about that, None Superior. Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on. It does take a little while to set up. But anyway, so that's the left-right vertices for that one. So yeah, so for basically, this is for me to see kind of a debug tool just to make sure that every marker is being placed correctly. And then what happens is when I place this down, it doesn't let me place it in any other spots, right? So where it's red, I can't place it. Now, the white is not necessarily the correct places, because for example, like that's not, right, this is I'm on a lower level, so it's not letting me place it there. There's no geometry actually over here, but what it is handy for is sort of like a guide. So here I can go up into this way, and then we're going to reach it over here, this corner, and then from here we will place it up, go up there, and then what happens is you can see as I've kind of been clicking around, I have this temp box holder being created, and that has all of these line mesh markers placed. If I click on any one of them, that'll tell me this is its position, that's a position, but it has like the position of where the transform is, That's where the left vertex point is, the right vertex point is. You can see the turn type for that is none because it's not turning. But the second one, you can see it's turning right. This one again is turning right. So it's telling me in each case what it's doing now. Oh. Now this says none. It should say up or down, but it's actually, I actually don't need that, so this isn't that important. Are the UI elements just straight GL calls? Yes, they are. Those are. These are not. This is actual prefab object just with its collider removed, and then if I click form mesh, you can see it's generated it into the mesh. Now there are so we still need to do a few things like put the line manager object on this. Basically, I spent about a week, a little over a week, kind of writing this. Most of the tricky part was getting the line mesh, the vertices correct, and having all that feedback and figuring out what I wanted. And also, you can see we've moved the line mesh pivot point is at the first point, which didn't used to be, and I had to do some like vertex offsets to get that working. So, but anyway, now that that's the line, it's going to be way easier for me to do it. And you can also see what's really great about this is okay, I don't think this is quite working right now. But anyway, David was showing me some of like the... Hey! Hello, Brandon. Welcome to my stream. Yeah, I was kind of just showing everyone this editor tool that I've got, which lets me draw lines. These are a bunch of tools. Show you guys a script that basically what we have here is kind of what happens on load. So this instance of the window is created on focus, on destroy. When you close the window, so yeah, Control L, start block placement, and if I close the window, it actually treats it like a mesh form function. So that's like if I accidentally close the window, it's not going to delete. I'm not going to lose all my work. And then of course, I think this is working. Okay, it's not. Yeah, it is working. You can choose what color the line mesh should be, but now that I think about it, I'm gonna write down notes for David. By the way, you guys should check out Blendo Games stream sometimes. Brendan's been doing it recently. He's working on Quadrilateral Cowboy. You should all keep your eye on. Notes for David. Preview mesh should show color of... Actually, preview line mesh should just use the correct gravity line color instead of pink. Takes a center point prefab and point prefab and puts them... Oh, right, you were talking Ezio Auditore Revs was talking, saying, the other day I made a polygon generator thing. It takes a center point prefab and point prefab and puts them into an empty game object that is then spun around its center by 360 degrees, placing a new point at the same location relative, and then each point draws a mesh. Oh, I see. Right. Okay. So the way I'm doing that is actually quite simple, which is, so yeah, here's the form mesh, right? I've got a function that sets all the vertices, the UVs. So yeah, we go through here, we take all the left, we go through all the markers, we iterate through each marker, we take the left vertex and right vertex. For each marker, we actually take its left vertex, its right vertex, and the left and right vertex of the next marker, because we need 4 of those points to make a rectangle. We add those two vertices. We then add the UVs. I think actually David changed some of this. And then we add the triangles. And then we put them in the mesh, and that's how it's generated. But the actual offset thing happens down here, which is when the first marker is placed, we calculate the vertex offset difference. And then as we go and calculate where the mesh should be, everything just has the, right, so you can see here when we're adding the vertices, we actually just take the marker's left vertex position and add that vertex position offset. So no, the markers are, that should be, it's just this is a marker, right? Each of those is a marker, so that's just what I'm calling those. So it's just this one object that has, so this is the line mesh marker, right? All it does is it just stores information about the left vertex point, the right vertex point, what the bend of it is. So it's basically just an object that contains a bunch of information I need in order to draw the planes. But anyway, so yeah, those are the lines. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start looking at, okay, we need to get rid of that. Just gonna comment this out. And where is the tree generator? Okay, you know what, I'm gonna have to ask David. Ah, bonsai generator. Okay, so this is the tool that David's got. Now we're gonna start. This is actually my first time playing it, so we are going to just generate a tree and see what that looks like. And then what we are going to do is okay, so that's a tree. So anyway, you can see what I want to do is I want to C# with half Java syntax. I'm actually, if you SEO Editor, the one thing I would say is you should not look at me as an example of good programming practices. But so what do we have for the tree so far? You can see the rules. It took us a while to figure out what the rules for tree generation is in order to get this look right. All right, so what we have right now is we have these green trunk pieces, and these do not, when it's green, it means that it's not, branches don't grow from them. So we have these like blue trunk pieces. Oh, I see. So what we do have is we have this blue trunk pieces, and the yellow branches branch off from there. So this looks pretty good. I mean, they compared to what we have so far. So this is like, I'll show you guys this one was made by hand. Well, okay, that one, not that one. Let me see where the prefabs. Trees, complete trees. There we go. Hey, David Kilmer. Who was the other streamer, developer that was streaming today? Is it Jonathan Blow? He's streaming right now, I think. So anyway, this is a hand-built tree, right? So I want to show you guys like. Okay, so this is a tree I made by hand. So what David's got here, but the problem was my original plan was to make 100 trees by hand, and then I did 4, and I was like, okay, this is way too time consuming. And also oftentimes I need like trees of very specific volume parameters in order for it to fit in what I'm looking for. So the biggest difference I think here right now, like I would say, so we've got the trunk growing. That I think is a good. The trunk looks good. The problem is that the branches are all bunched up a little bit too close together, and I'm not. So I'm gonna be like, the thing that I actually enjoy more than programming is coming up with algorithms for how things should grow. So I think David's got a lot of the basic pieces in place, and we are just going to start going through, you know, basically try to so you can set the number of trunk pieces. You have this branch depth. Right, but eventually, it's like what I need is this tree to fit inside a box that I lay out. So anyway, this looks good. I think it's just some tweaking. It's just like those branches are a little too bunched up together. So I am going to oh, what the hell? Damn, that sucks. Man, that because I actually just saw John tweet about it, and he was on he was using Hitbox, and I was like, what? Why is he changing that? Oh, that's but anyway, we're gonna kind of keep working on that. Man, that sucks though. I really like the stream. Twitch should unban him, I think. But anyway, let's get back to working on the tree generator. So let's take a look at that code I believe it's called bonsai generator, and what I think well, we will oh, cool. All right, let's take a look at the bonsai tree generator. Alright, so we have the flat direction. I think this is it, right? Let's just double check, right? That's the window. Okay, yes. So this is the bonsai tree generator. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to we're going to look through this code and try to understand what's going on. And then what I'm going to do is kind of start kind of taking over. Like, I think, so David got a lot of the basics for how things are branching off and growing, which is great. But I wanna kind of tweak it so that it looks a little more like this. So the key thing here, there's like a few things that are missing in this right now that can get worked on, which is various size tree leaves. Right now they're all, you can see they're all generated the same, but they also need to be spread farther apart. Yeah, it's very difficult because you also get like confused between local and global stuff. Like I can do it, but it's always not fun. So I got kind of David started working on that, but he's going to be working on more optimization now. It's not exactly an L system. We're actually doing like a recursive. I think it is sort of like an L system, but apparently with L system you got to have like, it's only technically an L system if you use the that nomenclature. But yeah. So the other thing right now is that so the leaves are all the same size. That's really not a big problem. That's an easy fix. But the branches are a little bit too close together. So you can see this like bunching up here, which I don't really want. Like you don't have that here. Here, for example, in this tree there are very clear branches. So I think the way it's gonna have to be is like kind of setting up certain bounding boxes that let you know where you like a branch and leaf can grow into, and then have that dictate how these should grow, I think. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, it is like miles. It definitely was worth spending time on this, just because a tree used to take me like an hour to make, and now it's like, well, first of all, let's get rid of this. But yeah, and then you can also save the seed. So yeah, you can like generate them with different colors. You know, if you increase the number of chunk pieces. Right, so we're getting quite a bit of variation, which is great with the debug colors. But yeah, and if if I wanted to keep this, right, I can like save this seed if it's something I like, and then come back and generate a tree, and we should get. What the hell? Oh, use seed. There you go. That's the one we had before. So anyway, let me just take a quick screenshot of this and post it to Twitter, let other people know that we are currently streaming. Okay, there we go. Let's take a look at the code. None superior, you are right. Math is a big pain in the butt. So let's check this out. Flat direction, transition, trunk directions. Okay, so it looks like what we've got going on is setting out. Okay, flat direction, I think it just means like when we are not having height variation. So we just have the branch kind of growing off from there. Transition trunk direction. So this is a, I'm not sure which one is a transition trunk yet. Trunk data, transform vector, length, minimum trunk pieces, maximum cubes, maximum leaves. Oh, the other thing I forgot to talk about too is we need to account for, because eventually we'll have these boxes on the leaves hanging from the tree, and that gets very tricky because we basically need to ensure that the player can reach the leaves. So let me see here if this is a, let me see if there's a good example I can bring in. All right, this is another handmade tree. So if we have a box here on this level, that's not a big deal because you can basically stand on the ground and pick those trees off the branch. Like they're low enough that you can do that. So the low hanging fruit, that's easy. All right, we just like make sure that we have these leaves generated at this height and then put a box, attach a box to it. What is tricky though is when I have a leaf that's up here, because I basically need to ensure that there is a path for the player to climb up the tree on and get to the fruit. Now, the way this one works is a little tricky because you basically have to walk up this surface, jump down to here, jump down to here, and then when you're on this face, you have to rotate onto this one and then pick it off. So it's not super complicated. It makes a lot of sense when you are, yo, tiny angry crab, you're here. If the game does really well, you guys can call me Billion. If I make billions. It's probably not gonna happen. But yeah. So basically what I'm saying is like that I basically need to ensure there's almost like a pathfinding thing in order for me to ensure that there's a path for the player to get the fruit. The way I'm thinking of doing it is having this like pre-generated million Thausium. Okay, let's not go any lower. David Kimmel, let's not go any lower. I know the step wells. I do have the step wells, the infinite step wells. They're working out really well. But so I think what the key with this is that you basically need a negative space, right? Because there's always going to be a path because I don't have like branches floating in the air. The one reason why you might not be able to stand here is if there's like a branch right where your head would be. So the key is to block out a negative space at the beginning and make sure that branches don't grow into it. Oh yeah, Bill at the very least. So like I think the way we should be adding to this right now is, one thing I need to do is figure out how we can get the branches kind of growing in certain directions, and then what we would do is we would set out these big boxes at the beginning, knowing that the player is going to stand there, so we make sure to grow around it and then generate it. Out of interest is the dollar bill. Is the algo for those trees just picking directions to spawn blocks along with a tendency to go up towards at the beginning, then more outwards as you go? Tiny Angry Crab, I don't actually know because David has been the one working on it. I mean, we've just kind of been figuring out. I don't know if we have anything too specific right now. It is tending to go up, but we are actually, tonight is my first time looking at the code, so we're like, basically what I'm doing is I'm taking over this now. I was working on the line editor stuff, he was working on the tree stuff, and then it got to the point where he's much better at like just straight up programming things, and I'm not. So I'm like, okay, you know what, you work on that and I'll take over the algorithm part. David Lasky, intellectual property warning. Yes, but he's paying me. We have a contract, so it's okay. I'm paying him. That's just to clarify. Alright, let's take a look at the code. So, alright, and we're using ProBuilder to generate this stuff. Those buttons on the viewport, your own custom UI code. Which ones are you talking about? There's a few custom stuff. So this is ProGrids. Oh, that's kind of cool. ProGrids, and this is ProBuilder. That's by ProBuilder. Those guys are awesome. So we did not do that. The only thing here that we've done is this, which is our a gizmo to tell me which direction is which gravity. So like, this is green, that's yellow. We do have a few editor tools. So like, I mean, yes, like this is a custom editor tool. I wish David was paying me. Alright, so flat directions, transition trunk directions. We actually might have the ProBuilder guys on the stream sometime this month. Gabriel, who started ProBuilder, Carl is the programmer working on it. He's actually from Chicago or was living here. He's been in LA for the last few years, but he's going to be in town. So we're going to meet up because I've been using his tool. It's been wonderful. They've been incredibly supportive. Yeah, but I'd love to kind of... I think like people making development tools don't kind of get any spotlight. Like devs already don't get as much as game talk show hosts. So I was thinking it would be kind of cool to talk to some of the people making Unity tools, you know, see what their inspiration is and what that side of things is like. Because that's still very much game development. But you have a very different approach because you have to be like much more generic. Alright, minimum trunk pieces, maximum cube, maximum leaves. Size snap unit. I don't know what that is. Trunk size. Main trunk length. Oh, that's how much we, that's the grid we're working with. That's a snap unit. Minimum transition length, maximum transition length. Tools that let you experiment and imply possible directions for experimentation are awesome. It's the difference between composing by clicking on a grid piano roll in Logic. Yes, tools are so important. I mean, just spending kind of a week, and it took me a little longer writing the line generator tool, line drawer tool, just because that's like my first time diving into tools programming, and that's something I've wanted to work on for a long time. It's like, okay, now I know how to bring up an editor window. Now I know how to customize the editor, and it is super useful, and it does make a tremendous amount of difference. Tools programmers are the real MVP. That's what I say. Okay, so main transition, minimum transition, maximum transition length, minimum branch length, maximum branch length. So yeah, there's a lot of tweaking that's going to be involved. Okay, that's the rotation route, leaf bound offset, leaf bound size, number trunk pieces, number of cubes, maximum branch depth. I don't think we'll actually, I don't think I'll actually be able to understand any of this tonight. It usually takes me like 3 read-throughs of code before I actually understand what's going on. Fully understand it. Excel said, hey, D-Lask, I have a sit-stand desk, and I was sitting all day yesterday, so I decided to do a bit of standing today just to kind of change things up. But yeah, it is, I like having, yeah, I don't do either one standing or sitting. I go back and forth between the two. This is not my best clean. Oh, David Lasky is here. David D. Lask in the chat is the one who wrote this code that we are now analyzing. So thank you, D. Lask. It's like airing dirty laundry. Wow, tiny angry crab. Alright, leaf size, position root, leaf bound offset, leaf bound size, num trunk pieces, num cues, max branch depth. I mean, we, like, my line drawer brush editor window script is way worse. Although I like to think I am very good at comments. I think I probably go overboard though. But yeah, that's my code is way worse. Way worse. So leaf cluster threshold, gravity, double gravity, use seed, last seed, leaf cluster groups. Oh yeah, and the other thing we don't have right now that we're gonna do for the line generator is undo. Like, as you place markers, if you undo it, like saves. I think it saves the line will still bend, so we need to just kind of get that fixed. That shouldn't be super hard though, because we're generating the line mesh every time. So I think if you just take away the marker and then redo your list based on what's there, that should work. Let's see, branch data. Okay, branch data, that's the origin, the direction, the start, and the direction. Okay, that's our list of branches. Current tree, null. Activity, okay, yep. So these are stuff that's like, this is, I believe, when you click on the window, what should happen. This is when you close the window, what happens. Kind of just some of the UI stuff. Handles, yep. Okay. On GUI, position root, number of trunk pieces. Okay, so this is like on the window on the window itself what's available, right? So you can see this is a integer slider, this is gravity, this is our drop down stuff, drop down menu to choose which gravity we're working with. Okay. So what else is here? Generate tree. Okay, this is clear debug draw. Okay. Okay. Generate tree geometry. Let's see this. So it's taking in the parent, random, position, normal, float, scale, min length, max length. Why is this a reference, by the way? If David is still in the chat. I've seen this, so Chris uses it too in the waterfall controller script. Like, he has a bunch of upass references of lists into this. I'm never actually sure why. All right, let's look at generate tree first. Generate tree. All right, here is generate tree. Oh, I see. Oh, right. The random, and make sure that you're using the same instance and that the seeding will properly generate the same outcome. Ah, I see. We're reviewing David's code. Hey, a tasty shrimp platter is here. David is reviewing my understanding of his code. Okay, oh guys, this, I just have to like read this and be confused a lot of times before I understand anything. So, okay, we clear the branches, we have the current tree, that's, if it's null, if it's not null, we destroy it. Reviewception. Well, if there's grades, I would just fail every time, so. You see last seed equals to seed, last seed equals... Oh, by the way, David, since you're here, this is for you. Preview line mesh should just use the correct gravity line color instead of the pink one. If you see last seed equals to seed, else last seed equals to new system dot random next. Okay, we generate seed, current position, origin plus vector up plus times trunk size. Okay. Cursive generate trunk. Null current position vector up ref random. Okay, so it's actually passing in the actual random. Oh, I see. If we say ref with the random and make sure that you're using the same instance and that the seeding will properly generate the same outcome. Got it. Okay, transition trunk, generate transition trunk. So transition trunk are the ones that actually, that don't create stuff. So friend. Right, okay, so we have our list of transition trunks. We generate that. Get the tree info. Random. Hey, Vib, you're here. Welcome. Green is trunk, blue is transition, yellow is branch. Transition trunk. Okay, so blue is the transition trunk, which is... Oh, trunk. Okay, I didn't know if you... I thought you might have actually called it strunk. So blue is the transition trunk. So int count, random, next, tree trunk data, transition trunks, possibilities, flat directions, possibilities, remove. Okay, int c equals 0, c less than count, c++. Vector 3 direction, get random direction, right. So, okay. So first we clear the branches. That is our, right, that's our list of branch data. If the current tree, if there is a tree already, what we do is we destroy it. If we're using seed, we use that, or otherwise we generate a new seed. System random by random equals system. Okay. Oh, right. Because otherwise, so yeah, we make that a new last seed and we use that to generate. System dot random. Okay, now vector 3 current position origin plus vector 3. Okay, so current position is origin plus half the trunk size. David, just curious, why is this, why not just the origin? But, well, we'll see. Okay, so tree trunk data. Okay, so that has transform vector and length. So tree trunk data, that contains that. Okay, we have the list of tree trunks. Recursive generate trunk. So let's take a look at that. Peak definition. So we have its parent. We have the current position. Oh, right, yeah. Okay. It's the parent, current position, normal, rs random, depth. Okay, if depth, so I think depth is how many times it's like gone into iterating that. Trunk offset. Yes, in ProBuilder you can do face extrusion. So, which is what's really great about it. Vib, today we are actually, so we have a tree generator. This is a tree that's made by hand. This is where we're trying to automate that process, just because it's very, very time consuming, and mostly right now I'm looking through the code and trying to understand it. David Lasky, he's the programmer that's been working on kind of a lot of the tools and optimization for Manifold Garden, and he's been working on this tree generator tool. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of looking through it and understanding kind of what's going on. He's in the chat as Dlask. Right, force exits after max depth. Yep. Yes, Terran Wolf. Yeah, David's been working on the project for almost half a year now. Okay, we have this recursive generate trunk. Okay, so for this, generate transition trunks. Okay, so we generate the transition trunks and then this goes through. So what we then do is we iterate through the transition trunks and we get a random one? No, wait. Okay, we get the transition trunk. We get the list of possibilities and we take away the... Oh, I see. We're taking away the transition trunk normal, so it doesn't grow back on itself. I see. Oh, I see. That I think is interesting. Zach. Hello. So, yeah, what we're doing is basically, this is making sure that when we randomly generate stuff growing from it, it doesn't go back into itself. Get random side directions. Generate branches. Right, so then I see, right. Here we then generate the branches. So yeah, for the transition trunks, yeah, you see we iterate through them and then we generate a random set of branches. Right, where is C? For C equals 0, C less than C++. Oh, I see. Get random side direction. Oh, I see. Oh, this is very cool. So basically we have the list of possible directions that this can go in. And we first remove the direction of the trunk itself so it doesn't grow into it. And then we generate a random number of branches. So yeah, this C count is this random one between 1 and 3. We go through that, and every time, so we iterate through that, and then every time we generate a branch, we remove that possibility from the the direction we can go in. Yeah. Because see, now I'm thinking, like, what I'm thinking of is being able to do, David, can we do what is it called? Links? No, sorry, not links. Raycasting real time, because I feel like if we can raycast, right, then it's like every time you grow, you simply raycast and see if there's something yeah, no. If we can raycast when we're making this editor tool. Okay, yeah, because I think that I think is gonna give us a bunch of stuff. I'm just starting to understand it because I'm like we're like, you know, eventually we need the It's good to be able to like talk about this. This is the stuff I really enjoy thinking about. Yeah, as you're walking, raycast and make sure nothing's there, and then we can also do. I think that way, that's how we're gonna figure out sort of good distances between leaves.
Hey, fix.
Oops. Oh, I hate using quaternions. Quaternions are very painful. All right, so we have that. Okay, so that's all that's doing right now, right? We have the we generate the tree trunks, and then we generate the transition trunks, and we generate branches from there, and make sure that we don't kind of go back in the same direction. So generate a tree trunk. Parent, current position, normal system, okay. Trunk offset, generate geometry, parent. Okay, so we have this generate geometry. Let's peek at this. Right, so yeah, here in the generate tree geometry, this is where we are doing. Okay, right, so, oh, I see. So that's why you have the color here. You have your offset, you have your length, scale, normal, position, random. Ah, I got it. Okay, so right. So this is where we're using ProBuilder stuff, right? So this is a PB object, that's ProBuilder object, shape generator, cube generator. We do vector3 dot scale. What's their size? I don't usually use scale with ProBuilder though. It does like really weird things. All right, piece.transform.position, that's position, piece.transform.parent equals to parent. Funny story about quaternions. So Tiny Angry Crab has a tale about quaternions. In Alice in Wonderland, the Mad Hatter's Tea Party is Lewis Carroll taking the piss out of quaternions. There's only 3 people at the tea party, time never arrives. He thought quaternions were an incoherent concept because when Hamilton was developing them, he suggested the 4th term should be interpreted as time, so hence time never shows up to the tea party. Interesting. I did not know that about Alice in Wonderland, but that's not surprising. I'd like to have more stuff like that in this game as well. PB shape generator, cube generator. Okay, piece dot transform dot position equals to 0. Piece dot transform dot parent. Okay, so that's, we're getting the position, we're getting the parent. Debug colors. Yes, if using debug colors. Then that's colors dot length. Oh, right. So this is what we're doing here is we are, you can actually set the color. Oh, interesting. Is this how you set vertex color in? Oh, I guess that's how you set vertex color in. I think I must have known this. I feel like I was doing it differently before, or maybe it's just been a while. I thought I was using. I thought I had to set it by face. No, I'm not. I just thought the way to set vertex colors was different. Like I thought I use it in my fractal generator. Oh yeah, it is. So right, like this is what I mean. The way I was doing. I guess I think it's probably the same thing. You can just set it by probular face in you can go through each of the faces and then set the face color, which I'm assuming it basically just does this underneath. Ezio Editorial, sorry about the stream quality, not sure what's going on. That's out of my hands. Interesting story about waiting for Godot. Okay, so anyway, that's just... Alright, yep, we're setting the vertex colors. Piece.name... Okay. Get face from normal. So that's, I guess the thing is, wonder where normal, how is the normal calculated for, what's the normal for the trunk? That, we'll figure that out. But we get one specific face based on, I guess it's just like for each of them we have an up that we're considering. So we have the minimum addition equals to minimum length minus scale. Maximum addition, maximum length minus scale. Addition range. Random offset is the float addition range times random next double. Okay, so we have a random offset here. Clamp, snap, float, random offset plus minimum addition times maximum addition. Translate vertices. I'm guessing normal is the one that we're growing in. Oh, I see. So it's, we get the face, right? And we have this minimum addition, maximum addition range. Okay, so we get this random offset value. And then we use that to calculate the total offset based on random offset minimum, max, okay. Plus minimum addition. Okay, I see this is doing some basic snapping. So we calculate the offset based on some values that we have and the random value. Then what we do is we translate the vertices. We take the face. I guess you have to pass in the set of vertices for that face, and then we multiply the normal of that face by the offset. Okay, so we're offsetting. So I guess the normal is the face that we want to extrude. We refresh it. Guessing that's just to like make it show up correctly, update it. And then what we do is we get the component, we recalculate the bounds. Okay, yep. And then we add the component box slider. Oh, I see. So what we're doing for generate tree geometry is we get the position, we parented, we get the face. Oh, see, this is interesting because the way I probably would have done it is I would have always had them grow from the same. See, I would have just had all of the boxes grow from the same face, and then I would have done like matrix rotations. But I think this is a little bit better, where we're just choosing which face we want to extrude, and then go out from there. So yeah, that's how. Okay, so now we know that's what this generate tree geometry is going. Okay, so it's picking out one of the faces and then just extruding that. Now with the recursive generate tree trunk, so we have the depth, trunk offset, generate tree geometry, tree trunk data. I'm gonna get some more coffee. I'll be right back. Okay, so trunk offset, transform trunk, generate tree geometry, tree trunk data, new tree trunk data. So we get a new trunk data which has the trunk. Okay, so we're getting this. Length equals to trunk offset, okay. So we generate this trunk, we pass it into this tree trunk data. Tree info dot add. Okay, so we add it to our entire tree info list. We get the trunk position, which is the current position plus normal times trunk offset, okay. Get the next trunk normal. Get random side direction, okay. I see, so we're passing in the normals. Okay. Yo! Jet user, finally here. In Seattle. Yeah, I haven't seen you here in a while. We are kind of going through the tree generator algorithm right now, so I'm just thinking about how we can improve this algorithm and make the tree more organic and give us a little bit more control over what we're doing. Because I'm thinking like, so the big key here is I need this like bounding box, this volume box, and make sure that the tree only grows to fill in that, right? Because the way I need the trees to fit into my design process. By the way, there's a fantastic talk, Unite Anton Hand. Unite 15. Hold on a second. Where's his talk? This is, it's here. There it is.
Greetings. Welcome to my talk, Process.
I'm gonna post his link in the chat. But this is a absolutely fantastic talk about work pipeline, and it's actually not just about Unity. I feel it actually he like talks a little bit about it, but it's not really that much. It's not Unity specific. I think it's just a lot about getting your process and pipeline down, and it's an incredibly great talk. We're kind of in that phase where we're going from pre-production, which is like what the last 2.5 years where we figure out the design, now to full on production. Like we know what the game is, we know what we have to do, we know all the mechanics, we just need to make it, and make a lot of it, right? So it's like this is why we're working on this tree generator, because it's fitting into the level design pipeline. Like I just want to be making stuff out, like making these floors, and then I'm like, okay, you know what? I need a tree right here, and I have the amount of space I have is like 20 by 20 and 40. So I need to be able to make a tree that's going to fit in. And so hand building each of those trees just does not make sense, because I'll be like, okay, 20, 20, 40, and then but over here it's similar, but I need like 18, 18, 30. The problem is to go from that 20, 20, 40 tree to the 18, 80, 30 tree. I have to create a new tree entirely. So it's like each time I need a tree, it's got to be custom, and it's going to take me hours, and it's just not fun work to do. So that's like kind of what I'm thinking about. So we're like honing down this process. Like we got the stuff with I'm sure some of you guys have seen the window generator, which is you basically pick you select, and I can design it in Photoshop with pixels on a grid, bring it in, and it automatically generates a window for me. Super useful. You want to do something similar with this yeah, we want to do something similar with everything else in the game, and you know, Pro Builder took care of our geometry, so we just have like kind of like the trees and some basic stuff left. The trees is really our main hurdle now, since the line generator tool is done. We also need like a staircase generator, but that's relatively easy. That one can be done like in a day. So I need to set out this bounding box and then have the tree grow to fill in that. Hmm. Yeah, I'm just trying to think about it. Hey! All right, David, I will see you later. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah. Just trying to think about what would be the best way to approach this problem. Like, I'm wondering if maybe applying some kind of probability weight to each one. Like, the way... So the way right now is that the tree kind of grows out somewhat randomly. We had it once... At the beginning, we were thinking we would place the leaves in locations already and then have the branches grow in to fill that out. But I'm not so sure. That one proved a little bit more difficult. So it's like, what if there's even a way where I can like pick a leaf and move it around, huh? Or what if what we want is not a tree so much that is completely automatic generated, but I'd still have to go in and tweak, in which case we'd have to make it easily tweakable. I feel like we should be able to get it to be completely procedural, though. They look very procedurally generated, so I don't see why it's an issue. It's just a matter of figuring out locations. I mean, like the other approach is, hey, see you later, Tiny and Crap, is having, maybe when we set it out and it's a box, we can kind of pick out areas. So like, it's like, okay, you know what, this branch is going to grow into here. This one will grow into here, so that's not... Okay, I'm going to end the stream here tonight. It is almost 10 p.m. And I think I just need I'm going to think about it some more. If you guys have other ideas too, let me know. So yeah, I mean, what we've sort of determined from this is it's basically, right now it's sort of growing outward, and it's mostly what we're doing is we have some randomness in the direction and in the number of branches that emerges from each piece, and we're sort of, what we're doing is we get rid of the direction that your trunk grew from. Excuse me. And that, I think, as far as I can tell, that seems to be mostly it. So it's just a matter of how do we design a system that's gonna fit. The important thing is to generate a tree within the large volume bounding box. Like I'm thinking if you had a box and you know what, I have a box here, right? And we divide it so like we can pick out, we know different regions and kind of just have the leaves fill in there. I wonder if that might be the case where we start out almost like we pick out the general direction of the tree first. Oh, wait. What if we did it twice and then the first time we just had a giant block? Maybe that's it, right? So what we do is we have like 3 blocks, and we just grow in from there. Like you would have these. It's like you generate, and it's like boom, there's a giant block, and then you just kind of grow in from there. Here's a giant block, like almost like basically doing this but subdividing. Well, no, so I think like Terran Wolf, that's actually what we have right now. That is what we have right now. The problem is, how do you do that and still fill in an exact space? Right? No. So that's what I'm saying right now. Is that's what we have. We have this like growing system. But sort of what I need is it to fill out a pre-existing space that I have set out. And I'm wondering if we could do the trunk and then generate a bunch of blocks where the leaves would go, and then maybe think about how the branches can move in there. Anyway, I'll finish this up and then just kind of keep thinking about it. But anyway, thank you all for stopping by the stream. If you liked it, not sort of like half carving and then half growing. It's like we chip away stuff areas and then we're like grow into them, I think. So anyway, guys, yeah, there's no stream on Friday because I got this exhibition coming. We're showing off a bunch of new print. This is with the Video Game Art Gallery, which I'm really excited about. I don't know if you guys are. Yeah, we got a bunch of new prints. They're not available for sale yet, but they eventually will be. I think that's something people are excited about. But yeah, next Wednesday will be normal streaming. Next Friday we are going to have Four-Sided Fantasy. So it's a game about. That's the plan. We have some really, really cool stuff. 2 really cool games coming up. Four-Sided Fantasy. This is a game about screen wrapping in 2D space. It's currently in development. So you can see it's got 2D world wrapping puzzle game. And also the week after, which I guess is Halloween weekend, we'll be talking to Vision Trick about Pavilion, which is it's a 4th-person game. Beautiful art. I remember seeing this one night, and I was like, how is not everyone not super excited about this game? I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It's coming to PlayStation. They just got greenlit. PlayStation PCs, and we are going to be talking to these guys as well. That's going to be October 30th. So no stream on the 16th. Dev stream on 21st. I think 28th we might be talking to Pro Builder. I don't know yet. I have to confirm. But 23rd is gonna be Four-Sided Fantasy, and 30th is gonna be Pavilion. So anyway, have a great rest of the evening, and I will see you guys later.